Hockey is one hell of a sport, and it takes great practice and skill to be good at it. But these players make it look like child's play. You know, players like Alex Ovechkin. Being called one of the best is one big flex. But seeing just how iconic Alex was, it might be an understatement. He made his debut in the National Hockey League back in 2005 with the Washington Capitals. And ever since that, he has been making history in the world of hockey. Honestly, I don't even have to tell you about how incredible of a player he is, because anyone with the mildest interest in the sport is already familiar with the name and the legacy he's creating. He even won the Maurice Richard Trophy for the most goals scored. And that's not even the best part. You think he got that trophy once? Well, he won it multiple times. First in 2008, then from 2013 to 2016, then from 2018 to 2019, and in 2020 too. But that's not the only trophy he has won several times. Yup, he has received the Hart Memorial Trophy thrice for being the most valuable player in the NHL. Now that's a flex, right? There was one award that he had his eyes on for a while. Fans were just waiting for him to finally bag it. And then, after much anticipation, in 2018, he finally won the Stanley Cup with the Capitals. And that's not all. Other than being an extraordinary player, he's also a great human. He has a very colorful personality, one that fans of the sport absolutely adore. From having fun with fans to quirky quotes to hilarious one-liners, he's just a joy to have in the sports world. Good ol' Alex knows just how to cheer fans up in a boring situation. Talking about great people in the sports world, this next player is a gem in his own way.
Look out! Dubois gets railed by the...
Tried to work by, kicked along by Ovechkin, and he'll be penalized for that hit.
Jacques Plante. Not a lot of people can be given credit for literally changing the face of hockey, but you must be asking, what exactly did he do that changed the face of hockey? Well, the Canadian popularized face masks. So he quite literally changed the face of hockey. But there's a whole story and a good reason behind why he decided to bring them in the first place. You see, back in 1959, he was hit by a slap shot in the face, and he ended up needing around 21 stitches just to close the huge gash on his face. Ouch! No wonder he's a big fan of face masks. What he did next was honestly a huge reason as to why he's considered one of the best players in the game. Since he was the only goalie for the team, he had to return back to the game to hold his position. Soon after, his face got stitched up, but he didn't come unprepared. He said that he would not play the game until he wore a face mask, and he did. But thankfully, after him, wearing face masks slowly became the norm and was seen more in games. But that's just his impact on the uniform. Aside from that, he was an astounding player and a great goaltender. He was named the team's best player and won the Vezina Trophy for being the league's best goalie after he helped Montreal win 5 Stanley Cups in a row. Talking about players who had great impacts on the world of hockey, let's not forget about a certain Canadian player, Terry Sawchuk. Being credited as the greatest goalie in the history of hockey sounds like a big deal. Well, it seems only appropriate when you look at Terry's career as a goalie. Then you'll understand how fitting the title is. He was pretty good at his job. He won a total of 4 Stanley Cups in his career, 3 with the Red Wings from 1952 to 1955, and 1 with the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1967. But that's not all. There's a whole list of his accomplishments, one that's way too long for this video. He won 4 Vezina trophies too, in 1952, then in 1953, then in 1955, and finally in 1965. So, over his 21 years of playing professional hockey, he managed to earn quite a good name among sports fans. Or maybe that love and respect from fans is because he registered a total of 447 career wins. And talking about his career wins, these include 103 shutouts. Yep, it's just as insane as it sounds. It was a record for him, which was broken in 2000 2009. But again, a goalie in the 50s playing ice hockey, yeah, not the safest position to be in. While he definitely left his impact on the sport also left quite a few marks on him. He got a total of 400 stitches before face masks were finally popularized enough. But unfortunately, his fame and success came to a tragic end when he died after a drunken fight with his teammate. But enough about sad ends, because nothing about this next player is anywhere near sad. Jean Beliveau. He was considered one of hockey's best centers, and yeah, no one has been up to his level to this day, despite his career being over decades ago. So that's a legacy we need to talk about. And not to mention that he won a total of just 10 Stanley Cups. Yeah, not a lot, just a total of 10 cups. Jean played for the Montreal Canadiens and had a career that's still exemplary to this day. Back in his time, he even set a record for the most career goals, a total of 507. Sounds insane? Well, the only thing insane here is his mad skills. Jean was so good at what he did that he was even named the league's MVP, not once, but twice, in 1956 and then almost 8 years later in 1964. And things looked amazing even after his career ended. Sometimes the fame and success end just with the player's sports career, but not for this guy. After he retired, he didn't even have to wait the usual 3 years before being voted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1972. Talking about the Hockey Hall of Fame, that's where this next player ended up too, all thanks to his amazing game. Mario Lemieux. Being tall isn't always a good thing in sports. Okay, maybe in basketball, sure, but in a sport like ice hockey, where you need great speed, flexibility, and agility, being tall can mean you're probably not going to be that good. Well, Mario proved all that wrong and became one of the greatest names in the world of hockey. One that's so important that hockey wouldn't be complete without mentioning his name and contributions to it. In his 17-year-long hockey career with the Pittsburgh Penguins, he ended up winning 2 Stanley Cups for the team, one in 1991 and another in 1992. Oh, and that's not all. He had a total of 690 career goals, and that was after he had to miss a few seasons because of medical reasons. Just 2 years after he retired, he helped his team out of bankruptcy after he became the team's majority owner. Now, that's a flex, right? Before his last retirement in 2006, he returned to play with the team in several seasons too. And just 3 years after that, he became the first person to have won a Stanley Cup, both as a player and as an owner, when Pittsburgh won another Stanley Cup in 2009. And those were some of the greatest hockey players of all time in the history of the sport.